Sometimes the hardest decision we'll ever make isn't about what career to pursue or where to live, but whether to let go of someone we once thought we couldn't live without. I learned this the hard way, when I found myself holding onto a relationship that had slowly shifted from love to something that drained me every single day. At first, I convinced myself that things would get better, that all the effort, all the apologies, and all the waiting would somehow bring back the person I fell for. But deep down, I knew I wasn't being fair to myself. Toxic relationships don't always reveal themselves with loud arguments or dramatic endings. Sometimes they creep in quietly. They show up in the way you second-guess yourself, the way your laughter becomes rare, the way you start to shrink just to avoid conflict. I remember catching myself in the mirror one day, not recognizing the tired, anxious version of me staring back. And that's when it hit me. If staying with someone means losing yourself, then love has already left the room. Ending that chapter wasn't easy. It felt like ripping out a part of my identity, like walking away from a future I once believed in. But here's what I discovered. Letting go isn't the same as giving up. Letting go is an act of courage, a way of saying, I choose myself, I choose peace, I choose growth. And when you make that choice, something remarkable happens. You begin to rediscover who you are outside of someone else's shadow. I started spending time in silence, just reflecting. At first, it was uncomfortable, almost lonely. But then I began to notice the small things I'd been too distracted to appreciate. The calm of an early morning walk, the clarity that comes from journaling my thoughts, the sense of freedom that arrives when you don't have to measure your worth through someone else's approval. It was mindfulness in the simplest form, learning to be present with myself without judgment. And with each mindful step, I realized that growth doesn't happen in comfort. Growth happens when you face the pain, when you let it teach you what you deserve and what you can no longer tolerate. For me, the lesson was clear. Love should never feel like a cage. A healthy relationship should expand your world, not shrink it. It should give you energy, not constantly drain it. Looking back, I don't see the ending as a failure anymore. I see it as a turning point, a moment where I finally honored my own worth. And if you're listening right now and you feel like you're trapped in something that steals your joy, more than it gives, I want you to know this. You are allowed to walk away. You are allowed to rewrite your story. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is to step out of what's familiar so you can step into what's truly meant for you. Life is too short to keep pouring yourself into empty spaces. Your heart, your energy, your love, they're precious. Save them for people, for dreams, for experiences that make you feel alive. The right connections will never make you question your value, and they'll never ask you to sacrifice your peace just to keep the bond alive. So, if there's one thing my journey has taught me, it's this. Don't be afraid of endings. Sometimes an ending is just the beginning of becoming the person you were always meant to be. And trust me, once you take that step, once you choose yourself, you'll look back one day and realize you never really lost anything. You only gained yourself back.